All right, guys, here we go. This is the Mi 11 Lite by Xiaomi. It is a budget phone, but as you can see, this is like super premium looking, very sleek looking phone. I really like the way this looks. You get the Xiaomi branding right there. The 3-camera setup. You've got, and we'll go through this more, you get the power button, which acts as a fingerprint sensor, the volume up and down. This phone also has the ability, USB-C with speakers at the bottom. This phone also has internal storage, obviously, but also you can put a micro SD card in here. So let's open the box, see what comes inside. It does come with a film screen protector, a plastic case, SIM card ejector, a USB-C to headphone jack adapter, and lastly, a USB-C charging cable and a 33-watt fast charging brick. Okay, so let's first start off with the fingerprint sensor. I actually, if you're not gonna put it on the back of the phone, which I love, put it on the side. I generally like these side fingerprint sensors. They work generally pretty good. This one, again, you can see it's pretty fast and it's accurate as well. So I like the fingerprint sensor thus far. And to show you a little bit of the screen design, you can see that there is a cutout for the camera in the top left. The screen itself is 6.55 inches and it is a AMOLED Full HD Plus display, which at 2400, 1080, and it's also got a 90 hertz refresh rate on here. The colors on the display are really nice, as is the brightness. You can see I have halfway, and this is very, very reasonable, so I'm very happy with the display overall. I think it looks really, really good. Let's pop up a video here. Here you go, a little video action on here. You can fill up the whole display. It looks great from any angle that you're watching the video from, or looking at the photo. It's a really, really pretty display overall. Some other notable specs on this is it has a Snapdragon 732 and LTE. There's no 5G on here, so if you're a 5G junkie, you probably won't want to pick this up, but 5G to me isn't a huge deal versus LTE. The cameras on the back are going to be a 64 megapixel main sensor, 8 megapixel ultra wide, and a 5 megapixel telemacro phone camera, 4250 milliamp battery with 33-watt fast charging, Android 11. So you get the latest Android version. Bluetooth 5.2, NFC, dual SIM, micro SD slot. There's going to be no 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, but remember, you do get that adapter so that you can do that. And it weighs 150 grams. Let's open up the camera here, and you can see there is a plethora of different modes on here. You got Pro mode, so if you want to shoot photos and control every aspect of the settings, from the white balance to the aperture to the ISO, you can do that. You can jump into video, and you can shoot video on the front or the back of this. Photo modes, and when you do photos and video, obviously you got your wide, which you can see at 0.6x, your main, and then your macro. You got portrait mode, and portrait mode you can add beauty mode, so it kind of makes when you take the portrait mode, you can kind of smooth out the skin if you want, and you have different filters that you can add as well. You can go to more, and there's even more settings. As you can see, you got night mode. You can change the megapixels. You can do a short video, panorama documents. If you're taking a picture of a document, they have a vlogging mode, slow motion, time lapse, dual video, movie effects, long exposure, and clone. So there's tons of modes on here. It was nice to see that they added so much stuff. On the front camera, you can do up to 1080p 60 video, and on the back, you can do up to 4K 30. With that said, let's check out a few photos I took with the front and the back, and also some video samples. Hey everybody, this is the front-facing camera on the Mi 11 Lite. I'm gonna walk around just a slight tad of a bit, and you can see if it has good stabilization in it or not. I have it running at 1080p 60 on the front camera because that's the highest resolution. Ooh, highest resolution it can do on that front camera. I'm now showing you the back camera. This is the ultra wide camera running in 4K 30 because that's the highest resolution on those cameras. Now let me switch to the main lens. All right, here you go, main lens on this Mi 11 Lite. And again, I'll walk forward, I'll walk back. Hopefully showing off the stabilization, the microphones, all of that. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Next, let's check out the speakers.
And I believe this update also came out for the Buds Pluses and the Buds Live as well, but definitely the Buds Pro because I got it.
Stereo speakers
today, but I believe it came out yesterday, and I haven't really seen too much news about it. But here it goes. There was an update.
Now they're not air-bleedingly loud, but the quality of the sound's pretty decent. You might be curious which apps come pre-installed. Actually, quite a bit. So I installed maybe 3 or 4 apps. I installed Twitter, Instagram, and Send Anywhere. Everything else is pre-installed here. So again, a lot of pre-installed apps in here. Let's see. Facebook was already pre-installed, but when you hold it and you go, you can uninstall Facebook. It's not relegated to only being disabled. So even though a lot of this stuff comes pre-installed, you can get rid of it. Like, I don't even know what this is, Block Puzzle Guardian. But if I don't want it, since I don't want it, I'll show you. I can just uninstall it and it'll go away. I like the animations on here too. They're pretty nifty. Didn't install that. Let's see what else is here. Like I told you, Facebook was installed. Dust Settle was pre-installed. Jewel Blast. A lot of games installed on here, actually. Pre-installed. LinkedIn was pre-installed. Obviously, all the Me apps were pre-installed. The Google apps. Netflix came pre-installed. They've got their own... that's Google News, it looks like. PUBG came pre-installed on here. So uninstall that. So there you go. A lot of pre-installed apps. WPS Office was pre-installed. Get rid of that. So yeah, I mean, again, not a huge deal. You can uninstall them yourself, but just be forewarned. As for the software, they have their own skin on top of Android 11, but from left to right, you get your Google feed. I love this. My favorite feed to have on here. You can search through Google. You can read your Google News. You can get the weather, go into your Google account. It's very helpful. If you want to change your wallpaper and things like that and add widgets, all you're going to do is press and hold on a blank spot on the home screen and go to either wallpaper or widgets or settings. When you go into settings, you can set your default screen if you want very easily. You can go in here and do a home screen layout, change it from 4:6 to 5:5. It depends what you want. You can fill cells of uninstalled apps if you want, kind of like the way that iPhone does, where when you remove an app, it'll just all line them up. You can lock the home screen layout. I like doing that for my parents and parents-in-law so they don't mess up their home screens. You can go into more and you can change more stuff. You can change your default launcher, easy, if you have multiple installed. You can go to your home screen and you can have it look more like an iPhone, so it's just all apps. Or you can have it so that it looks traditional Android, where you have your app screen and your home screens. System navigation, you can have buttons or gestures. So good amount of customization. When you do go up to all your apps on here, by default, it'll go left to right. And you also have these... I have it up and down because I changed it, but ultimately you have categories as well that they automatically put stuff into to hopefully make your life a little bit easier to sort things. Otherwise, you can keep it at all and just go up and down. You can see it's pretty smooth just going through your apps, so I liked that. Go in here and you can turn on and off app suggestions, manage your categories, scroll. You can see you can go. By default, it was original layout, which would go left to right when you scroll through it. I changed it to A to Z, and now it's up and down. Place new apps on the home screen. When we go into quick toggles, this is what they look like. Pretty clean look to them. You also have your notifications in here. One thing I don't like about the way they get rid of the notifications, so for instance, I have my weather here. Usually when I get rid of my notifications, I go from right to left, like this way. But you can see, for me, it brings up these extra menus where I can go into settings or save it or turn it on and off. If you want to get rid of it by swiping it away, you have to swipe it this way. Not a huge deal, but it is to me a little bit of annoying. So keep that in mind. You can go 2 fingers down and get rid of your notifications, delete them like that. Let's go into settings. Bunch of settings in here. You can look at your about phone settings. You can go to your system apps updater to update any system apps on your phone. You have your security status if you want to check that out. You have SIM cards and mobile networks. And remember, this is a 4G phone, not a 5G phone. So if you need 5G, again, you're going to want to look somewhere else. You do have your Wi-Fi, controls your Bluetooth, your connections and sharings. If you go into your print settings, your cast settings, VPN, all that stuff. You have your always on display and lock screen. You come in here and customize that. So you do have that. You can raise to wake it, double tap to turn on and off the screen. Lock screen clock format. You can launch your camera by double pressing the power button. Change your home screens like you did earlier. Your wallpapers, they do have themes in here. If you want to theme out your phone a little bit here, there is a Me theme store, so you can make your phone look different. If you're coming from a Samsung phone or Samsung themes or even LG themes, very, very similar stuff in here, which is nice to see. It makes it easy to change your icons and your wallpapers and your system sounds and all that stuff. All within here, all with the click of a button. So if you wanted color night, for instance, just come in here, click on free, and it will install it. And you can see it would look something like this if you liked it. So I love that kind of stuff. Oh, like I mentioned earlier, it does have a 90 hertz display. So if you go into display, you can change your brightness levels, your reading modes, your color schemes if you want. I set it at saturated, like saturated colors. You can see refresh rate by default, it's set to 60. You can change it to 90 very easily right there. Your text sizes, all that stuff within here. Additional settings, let's see what's in there. Just your date, time, languages, inputs. And then just overall performance, running through some of this stuff, it's very, very smooth for the most part. I haven't really noticed that much issue. I mean, I will admit when I use my Galaxy S21 Ultra, it does feel smoother and faster, but ultimately this thing's pretty freaking smooth and fast. The 90 hertz refresh rate does help with it. The processor is pretty fast as well. Load up Android Police's website here. You can see how fast it loads. There's a lot going on this website. We'll click on an article. It's OnePlus 9 Pro. So very, very smooth for the most part. Here's what your recent app screen looks like if you want. You can do floating windows. You can clean it, security scan, deep clean, manage your apps. You see it gives you this grid style look to your apps in here. You can split screen. So all that, and it works great, it's very smooth. So there you guys go. That is the Mi 11 Lite. This phone is extremely light, especially coming from like an iPhone 12 Pro Max or a S21 Ultra or a Z Fold 2. This thing feels like a feather. It's very, very light. It looks really cool. I love the design of it, especially the back. It's super sleek and minimalistic. I like it. Very, very nice looking phone. Performance of it is cool. Comes in multiple colors. If you want to get a different color, you can. 6 gigabytes of RAM in there. And even though seemingly that's kind of light these days in terms of RAM, it still runs pretty darn well. So if you want to pick one up, I'll link it down below. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you down the road. Peace.